Okay, so got this is the 2500 each, and this is throwing a knock sensor code. Yeah, reason is I had to park this truck outside because there's too many cars in here. So it was outside for a few months in the spring, and there was some mice shit on the, just on the intake manifold. Not a whole lot of tracks here. Usually, I'm good at spotting rodent tracks, but there were droppings right on the intake cover. So it throws a knock sensor code. I pulled the intake here. It looks pretty wet because that's, I blew it with as much compressed air just to clean it all off here, and brake clean a little bit, and then just fuel's coming off the lines here. But so inside, first knock sensor nice and dry. So most shit, of course, what do? You wash it. Then a couple days later, you get a check engine light on. So look at in the back one here. It's just swimming in liquid. And yeah, it is wet. You can see it's wet inside there. Just a mess. Anyway, so changing the knock sensors, went with the NTK, went with the new harness as well. But that's good argument for keeping your vehicles inside, because just one little slip up, you wash it, that's what happens. So when I'm going to put these back on, GM has an update. You put these covers on, then you RTV around. It's like a semicircle. I'm going to RTV down here along the surface where they mate, but on the top you run a bead all the way around it, and you level it out at the back, the rear of both of them. So that's the GM update. And the other update, you remove this foam here. So I'll remove the rear one. I'll remove them both. Maybe I'll double check that update and see what they want you to do, remove one or both, but you remove it so water doesn't get trapped in that area. Just take this out. Yeah, so remove that. So that is the update. RTV, remove foam, put it all back together. Everything's good. While I'm at it, I'm gonna change this Valley gasket. I might actually change valve cover gaskets now that I'm here. Checking the stash. I got most of the stuff in duplicates. Yeah, let's just use some of the parts off the shelf. Get her done. Yeah, this is cleaned up good enough. So I went with mostly the Mahle gaskets. These have the reinforced backing on the intake gaskets. This Valley cover gasket got one of those as well. And then I put a couple new seals in here. So they just pushed in pretty easily. I had to buff up the back when it was all corroded, but wire wheeled in there. And then I use a little bit of silicone lube on the inside here where it meets against that boss right down there. A little bit of silicone lube, just so it goes on really nicely. And that's about it. Got the intake all cleaned up. Probably not going to change these valve cover gaskets. They're not leaking. So why waste the parts? And this truck only gets driven maybe a dozen times over the summer just for yard stuff and moving stuff around. That's all. So I'm going to put it together. Got to put that Valley plate on first, then torque it down. Those are 18 foot-pounds. Sequence doesn't really matter. Just don't be dumb about it. Knock sensor is 15 foot-pounds. And then I think the intake is about 8 or 9. And there's a sequence inside out. You should do, look it up. Would be best, but that's clean enough. And we'll put it together and happy. All right, so I read the bulletin, I read it twice. So I did my version of it. So the RTV here, they say to put it around just the second one. You see, I did the front as well. I went all the way around it, and then I leveled it out on the back a little bit. I don't know why They say just do the rear. My rear was messed up, the front was fine, but it can't hurt doing them both. I went all the way around and then cleaned it up. I didn't leave any dry spots, nothing's getting in there. I don't know why. They want you to do it the other way. This can't be bad. And then for the foams, like I said, I read the bulletin twice. They say just remove the rear foam. I'm taking them both out. I never ran it on the old LS3 in the other truck. It should be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. I'm sure of it. Now the knock sensor, this is the front one. Looks perfectly fine. I'm going to keep it as a spare. I'm going to run it in my other truck. The rear one, totally corroded. That's the reason for the bulletin, do the rear. So the rear's got an issue for sure. I guess water would pool in the back there with the foam. But with no foam, it's not going to pool. This is the box for the NTK sensor. Here's a part number, ID0116. And then I put a new harness on, cheap insurance, got it from Rock Auto. Super cheap. Standard PTH1. So that's it. It's basically all done. Overkill. It's fine.